Hey, Coach. Shaking third quarter for you guys there, but really turned it around in the fourth. What was the difference between that third and fourth quarter with the guys as we continue to talk about this season resilience and being able to adjust?
You go through games and usually there's one quarter that is shaky. And so, as you said, I think we started, when KD is doing that, it makes it hard. And, there's that stretch there where, you end up having to double team him. And, he's seen every type of double team that, that's been conceived of. And then they hit a couple threes. And, that can take the wind out of your sails, so to speak. And I thought we got back to running. We did get some stops, but we ran on makes too. And we're able to, there was a couple times where they scored and we were able to answer within, quickly within the shot clock. So I think that being able to get to the next play and not be deflated when a great player is making shots.
Coach, you all were, I believe, plus 17 in the rebounding department. But I want to talk about a lot of the, some of the loose balls and the effort from your team tonight.
Yeah.
Just talk about the effort of just going after those second chance points and even taking advantage of the laziness of Phoenix tonight.
Well, I think for us, as much as anything, I'd like to point out Onyeka, because I thought his activity, both on the offensive glass and the defensive glass, was just terrific. I thought he was getting rebounds in crowds, he was keeping balls alive. And then we had some other guys that, there's one play that Veet made really stands out, but there was a few of them where we were just getting hands on the ball and keeping it alive. And I think, that competitive endurance where you don't just compete on one play or two plays, you continue to compete, and that's just what you do. And when you do that, good things happen. Not always, but a lot of times.
Hey, Coach, y'all were able to limit Bradley Beal and Grayson Allen's effectiveness.
I'm sorry?
Y'all were able to limit Bradley Beal and Grayson Allen's effectiveness. They had a big game last game, but not as good tonight. What went into that effort on the defensive end?
Well, I think, we talked about it briefly before the game, that we weren't sharp with a lot of our rotations and our cycle of help and a lot of things that we talk about and work on, and they just wasn't there. We were late on a lot of things, and I thought tonight we were better. We were able to protect against the roll and pick and roll and still get to shooters. And sometimes they just miss. I'm glad they do. But to whatever extent, our contests were better. I think we did a better job of making those shots a little bit harder.
Coach, I wanted to follow up on Onyeka. I know previously you talked about his instincts. I saw a couple plays in the beginning of the game where he had his shot blocked and then he kind of came out on Plumlee. Can you just talk about his adjustments facing a bigger big and what you saw throughout the game?
Yeah, he's strong, so he's got space, and when he doesn't have an angle, he's just got a great touch. And he shoots a little floater, and it's hard to block, and he shoots it quickly. And as I said, he's confident in that shot. We're confident in him taking it. The other thing, he's got great hands. So you see him tipping the ball. He comes up with a lot of tip-ins. Maybe he can't secure the rebound, but he's able to tip it. There's one play that kind of stood out in the first half where he's handling the ball and he faked a handoff and he split his man and got to the rim. We have a lot of confidence in him handling the ball, and so do his teammates, because he makes plays for other people too.
Coach, Veet seemed to play with real swagger tonight. He threw the ball, behind his back a couple of times. He dropped it off to, I think, Onyeka for a big dunk. For a guy who's in and out of the lineup a little bit, knowing DeAndre was out tonight and knowing Jalen was out, does it help him maybe play a little bit more freely, knowing there's more opportunity?
I hope not, but I think it does sometimes when you get extended minutes. That's part of it. The challenge, he's been playing that way though. He just hasn't played as many minutes because of what you mentioned with Dre and Jalen being out tonight. We needed him to play more minutes, but I think when he first started playing, we had a backlog of guys, and he kept working. And when you first get out there, even if he played a half a season last year, shot the ball great, but there's an acclimation period. Each shot sometimes you can make that shot too important when you just need to shoot it. And I think for him to play instinctively is really important because he's got great instincts. You know, I think the play that those guys will be, you know, Trey was upset with him because he probably had a dunk and he passed it. So if that's the worst play you make all night, like a really unselfish play, I'm all right with that.
I wanted to stick with Veach for a little bit longer as well, but I know with the team, it's about team defense and collective defense, but his defense on Kevin Durant for a couple of those possessions in the second half, especially the first miss in that third quarter, I mean, what have you seen from him as a defensive player and his ability to stop some of those bigger wings?
Well, he's big.
Yeah.
You know, he's all of 6'7", and you know your height on KD, you're not going to be as tall as he is, but I do think, and he's quick. And what that allows you to do at times is, you know, make the catch a little harder, push him off his spot a little bit more, and those things incrementally kind of add up. And we didn't foul either. Like that was one of the biggest things. It's hard not to foul when you're that focused on trying to stop somebody. But you know, he did a good job against him. He'll probably tell you it wasn't easy, but he did a good job.
Coach, 2 of your 3 leading scorers were out tonight, but of course Trey had to come and step up.
Yeah.
What did you see from him tonight?
You know, I've heard a lot about his shot attempts being down, and it's a credit to him that doesn't bother him at all. You know, I mean, it's one of those things if you look at a stat sheet, you notice he leads the league in assists, and he's not shooting as many shots because he's distributing more, but he's also scoring when we need him to score, and he's done that. You know, during a game with those guys, with Dre and Jalen out there. Tonight he needed to do it for longer during that game, and the biggest thing, you know, I kept telling him, like, we don't want to just have to rely on you every possession because he'll wear down. You know, they're throwing multiple defenders at him. You know, he's used to that, but that's where it's so important for us to run, and that gets other guys involved. And then when we do need him, when the game slows down, you know, he's fresher, and I think that was important. And just his understanding that tonight was one of those nights where, you know, we needed his offense scoring, not just his offense, you know, playmaking.
How big is it just to get a win and back
I see.
before you go on another road trip here?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you go into a game and, you know, Jalen and Dre, I don't know what our record is without those 2 guys. You could probably find it out. It's probably not as good as it is with them. So I think the fact that our group came together tonight and we played the way we did, I thought we were a really connected group. We executed a game plan, and that's gratifying. You know, and again, as you said, this whole month seems like we're on the road a lot, which we are. So, you know, being at home and getting one at home is always good, and now we're back on the road.
Thanks, Coach.